want to bring up Tap, of course, Transatlantic Production. Give him a round of applause. He got the world's largest archives in all of our history. Give him a round of applause. He can clap for him. Come on, clap for Transatlantic. Tap. Give him a clap, give him a clap, give him a clap, give him a clap. That's right, give him a clap. That's right, don't play. Give the brother a clap, show him some love. I want everybody to stand up for my brother, man. Stand up for one of the elders in our community that's been doing it well. Give a round of applause to Mfundishi. Give a round of applause.
Hotel. Uncle Johnson, do I tell. Peace and harmony to everyone. Everyone came here to get their mind expanded. Everybody came here because we're all on a mission. We're at a time period where the whole earth is changing. Atmosphere is changing. Your consciousness is changing. If you're not ready to change, you're ready to die. And then you're going to change anyway. So you just want to change in a positive light. Be in control of your change. One of the things we try to tell everybody is you need to be captain of your own ship. Don't be in the baggage room down on the 3rd floor underneath your ship and have no idea where it's going. Have no idea where it's going to dock. Have no idea of who's on your ship. You got to come upstairs and take the helm. That means you got to take control of your consciousness. And you take control of your consciousness by directing how you flow the life-giving air. The air. Shoot. Boundless space. You are made of the same thing that the stars are made of. Everything has a purpose. Do you understand your purpose? What is your mission? We studied the Kemetic legacy so that we understand the black print that was laid down to us by our sacred ancestors on how to live in a state of divinity. You heard us state before that we are divine beings, divine spiritual beings, having a divine human experience. Most of us leave the word divine out because you don't think that you're a divine being. You don't think that you're godlike. You don't think that you are made of the special entity here on a mission for change. Once you understand how dynamic you are, see, most of us are not afraid of what we don't know. We're afraid of how much power we possess. And then there's a responsibility to that, and we don't want that responsibility of being this omnipowerful spiritual entity that has the ability to inflict change through their presence. And that's what you do. Anything that you get involved with, you have the ability to inflict total change. You do it in sports. Now, if you can just do it in sports, that's why they don't want you in the corporate arena, because you do it there. They don't want you next to the computers because you do it there. You make some programs that they can't even comprehend. They don't want you to do in the computer programming room what you've done on the basketball court. They don't want you to be able to do in the corporate lodge what you do on the track field. I want you to go and check. Every running record is held by an African in the Olympics. Every running record, from the marathon, from 26 miles, to steeplechase, to the 100 meters, to the mile, to the every world record is held by an African. Now that should tell you something. Everybody knows who you are except for you. There is not a spiritual book from any ethnic area around the globe where they haven't gotten their information from your ancestors. In fact, when you think of spirituality, you have to think of an African melanated human being. You are the essence of what a quintessential human is. And so, one of the things that we want to talk about, I want to give just a little teaching lesson here because we have to take control of our own definition. Last night we had what they call a martial art demonstration. I want to change that. I want you to stop as Africans, as melanated beings, I want you to stop using the word martial. Martial is a Greek god of war that's responsible for destruction. And he's partnered with another clown called Mentor, which means kill anybody in order to get where you need to go. So you kill your father so that you can become queen. Daughters kill their mother so they can have their father. That was the Greek, that's Mentor and Martial. Before the Greeks came on the planet, we had control of what we call the combat arts. And they were dedicated to a figure depicted as a giant falcon, and it was called Mentu. And some people say in Coptic it's Mantu. And so it is the Mantu system is what we practice, not martial arts. It's Mantu or Mentu. If anybody remember the name of Mentuhotep? Mentuhotep is the founder of the second golden age, so-called 11th dynasty. He was a Magi warrior of the Mentu arts. So is Narmer, the first Nasubiti of the reunification of Kemet, was a Magi warrior. Aha was a Magi warrior. They don't, European Egyptologists don't tell you that. If you look up Magi, they will mention that these were elite warriors from Kush. And then that's about all you get. There wouldn't have been no second golden age if it had not been for the Magi. The Magi issued in the third golden age, that you call the 17th and 18th dynasty. They're extremely important. And so again, I'm giving you a word. It's the Mantu system. That's what we as Africans practice. Because the Mantu system is based upon Ma'at. You go to war for Ma'at. You don't go to war to take somebody's land. You don't go to war to take people's property. You go to war to protect Ma'at, truth, justice, righteous, harmonious balance, reciprocity. That's why we learn the combat arts of war. To protect our personal self, the divine temple that you possess, the divine temple in which your family is housed in, the divine temple of your community, the divine temple of your nation. That's why you learn the Mantu or Manchu arts. And so again, I want to just do this reversal so that we're putting things in its proper perspective. We are not martial arts anymore. We are Manchu. We practice a Manchu system of Ma'at, of the combative arts of protection. And so hopefully this will resonate. I know sometimes it takes a little time for it to vibrate. But we're here to think. Intelligent. There is nothing we can't do. Think unlimited, think unlimited, think unlimited, think unlimited. What we can do as a people is unlimited if you think that way. A poem is the naked advice of the heart. Malcolm was a poem, Toussaint was a poem, Zinga was a poem, Garvey was a poem, and each one of you are poems if only you would think intelligent. There is nothing you can't do. Think unlimited, think unlimited, think unlimited, think unlimited. What we can do as a people is unlimited if you think that way. Mentuhotep was a poem. You see, we are scuffling against logic, trying to use logic when logic does not exist. Trying to survive in a money world with money is irrelevant. The most powerful economic resources that you possess is your consciousness. Rise with your consciousness like Harun. And there's nothing you can't do. My brother said you don't need a job being just over broke. You need to rise your consciousness. That's your job. Brothers and sisters, even Stevie Wonder can see that all the sages and the prophets were trying to tell us was to think. Intelligent. There is nothing we can't do. Think unlimited, think unlimited, think unlimited. And that's why we are here. To raise our level of consciousness. Now, brothers and sisters, health is almost a bad word in the black community. We used to be the most long-lived of people. All the legends are of these melanin-dominated people who live for hundreds of years. And now the black man in America in an urban city has the shortest lifespan of anybody on the planet Earth.
And they shrink too.
Excuse me as I gather myself together. So you hear what I'm saying? The people who are the giants of the universe now have the shortest lifespan. And we are killing ourselves because we have incorporated somebody else's lifestyle. We've incorporated somebody else's mind, state of thinking. The enemy exists in here. This is why meditation, breathing postures, the yoga, and all these in the Mantu system is so important because it allows you to get the enemy out of your mind. And it's one of the only things that can. Religion can. Almost all religions on the planet were developed by your enemy to control your thought, to keep you in a box. Spirituality allows you to come out of the box. Spirituality says even the earth is not just your domain, that you come from beyond this, that the cosmos is yours. When they look at your DNA and they only understand 3% and the other 97% they call junk DNA because they don't know, it's because you have the keys of the cosmos locked in your DNA. And right now, one of the latest research is being done in Europe that they've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that more than 65% of all Europeans, their DNA is not necessarily linked to us, but to Neanderthal. That's the latest thing. I've been saying this for over 30 years. But now they got proof because they never could break down the bones of the Neanderthal man. But now they've been able to do it with the sophisticated machinery they have. And that most Europeans are the descendants of Neanderthal, not the Black Eve that they try to show you.
Right.
Which means that they're not even trying, Ma'at is not even in their programming. But I know y'all want to think everybody's light and the same. So I'll let you continue your insanity. But it's my job just to put it out there. This is what they're telling you. That no, we are not you. And we are, just think, y'all, if the sun is the source of light and energy on the planet and you're allergic to the sun, there's a problem there. I got crystals on my table and all those crystals were formulated through the energy and the synthesis of the sun. There are no more powerful energies than that. Gold, silver, all of them are formulated through the energy of the sun. So now if you got somebody or some creatures that's allergic to the sun, that's hiding from the sun, and you want to be like them, I rest my case. The breath I talked about last night, brothers and sisters. If we put 3 things on a scale that you absolutely need, and that is food, fuel, life, in order to sustain the body. You can go 90 days without food, and the body can still sustain itself. If you're in good shape. You need water. The body can go 30 days without water if you're in good shape and you can sustain yourself. Air. I guarantee that you probably can't go 3 minutes without air. So if I put good food, good water, and air, and I say, which one do you need to take care of first? What are you going to say? Did I hear somebody say fried chicken? So we're clear about that. Air. So if air is so important, why does 97% of the people don't know how to breathe? Because you have been enslaved by your ignorance. What does the scripture say? People will perish from a lack of what? Knowledge. We are divine spiritual beings. We have to embrace the breath, the energy. It is important that we understand the breath. The breath is the seat of how you will utilize your consciousness. And you are your consciousness, not your body. The body is just a temple. You are your consciousness. So you have to know how to use that consciousness. And so that capture was the Egyptian yoga, and I think we only put that down because if I had said Ma'at Akuma Ankh, probably about 3 of y'all would have showed up. Okay. Ma'at Akuba Ankh is where yoga comes from. What does yoga mean? Somebody. Yoga, to center yourself, to become one with yourself, to develop a synergy with yourself. Like most of us are hooked on the Sanskrit or the chakras, which is circle. You need to be able to use your language. Madhu Necha. Those people who know me know I'm a component of learning Madhu Necha. That is our classical language. Obviously, if the Madhu Necha is more than 10,000 years before the first Greek came on the scene, that Greek and Latin can't be our classical language. Classical, everybody got a classical language. Classical language is where the best of your culture is recorded. So obviously the best of our culture was recorded before there was even Greeks who sat at our feet. All right, so Madhu Necha. And the reason why they don't want you to learn this is because all the keys to the cosmos, and specifically to this planet Earth, as we observe astrology and astronomy, is locked in the Madhu Necha. The symbolism that is there. The symbolism there is on 4 levels. When I teach the Ma'at Akuba Ankh, the internal system, we use 2 languages. If you come to a class, everything is done in Kiswahili or Madhu Necha. Anything that is done to the right side, is our communication side, is done in Kiswahili. Anything that's done on the left side, which is the heart side, which is the spiritual side, is done in Madhu Necha. So even when you're counting and you're doing a drill, it's Moja, Mbili, Tattoo. When you move to the left side, it's Wa, Sanu, Shamut, Fudu, Diu. You're learning to use your right and left brain the way our ancestors began to do it. We didn't have such thing as right-handed versus left-handed people. Everybody had to have a balance and a harmony. You couldn't be a priest unless you wrote with the right hand, then you wrote with the left hand. On this side of the wall, you wrote left to right. On this side of the wall, you wrote right to left. You didn't have a right-handed team and a left-handed team. All the priests had to know how to do it. When I teach my people even the alphabet, you write the letters going this way, and then you turn around and you write the letters going the opposite direction. So you're developing right and left brain at the same time. Your breathing has to be the same thing. Every exercise you do on one side, you got to have harmony as you come back and do it on the other side. Every exercise. You're learning to harness the breath. One of our initiates, let me just show you how powerful the breath is. In order to be a grandmaster in our system, I'll give you 3 tests that we have to do that most people wouldn't even fathom. Number 1, you had to swim across the Nile at Aswan. Control of your breath and body control. In the current, you get sucked under into your test. You don't get retested. Number 2, you have to walk 25 meters on hot coals. And you can't fail tests.
Go ahead, my brother.
Number 3, you sleep in a coffin and the lid is closed. And you're there for 8 hours and there's approximately 5 hours worth of air in it. So if you have not learned to control your breathing, that's all, folks. You do not get retested. The coffin is yours. Now, I need to say this, you don't get this test unless they think you can pass it. You know, it's not like, I've been studying in New York, and I'm ready to take this test. All right. Control of the mind. It's a very serious thing, y'all. This hasn't changed over 10,000 years since the reunification of ancient Kemet. I need to talk about, there was a golden age before the Great Flood. After the Great Flood, most of the population on the planet was destroyed. You had pockets here and there in the highlands. The people who carried the knowledge on the African continent held it there. Because now we have a small group that survived. They had to condition a group who was prepared to take this knowledge to the next level. There was no Madhu Necha on the ancient temples in the last golden age before the reunification. Because they were all doing Ma'at Akuba Ankh. They were all in touch, as Ahati will attest to, the magical mushroom. They were all in touch with the various herbs, so that almost everybody in the society was operating on this what? High vibration level. They understood they were spiritual beings, divine, having a human experience. If they wanted to teach this lesson today, we would all just sit around and meditate for about 5 minutes and go home. And there would be no words spoken, and we would all have the lesson. Or all I would have to do was to come and to touch you. And our communication would be delivered. Some of the only groups that can do this today, there's still some people in the Congo. There's still some people in Australia, among the Aborigines, who haven't been contaminated by the Western world, who can still do it. Just through meditation. You would be out hunting, and your mate would say, bring home some potatoes too. And when you came home, you had the potatoes. And there was no cell phone involved. The cell phone is only imitating what you have the ability to do naturally. And we created the cell phone. But anyhow, we won't go there. People, we have to go back and gather our strength, our power. It is through the breath. Now, after the great flood, these priests didn't want this to happen again. And so they took the language of nature and created it and put it on the walls. So that when the next catastrophe happens, and it's going to happen, right now, us walking around with our pants and looking like our enemy is a catastrophe. You just don't know it. It's a catastrophe that equals the last flood. You just don't know it. Because you're the walking murder. Not the walking dead, the walking murder. Okay? But once you tap into your breath and you begin to understand, you begin to see things from the way they really are. And so the key here, again, they wrote on the walls in the Medu Neter so that the legacy of eons of information would still be left for you. You heard the expression, the writing is on the wall? It's still on the wall, waiting for you. You're not going to get it by reading Arabic. You're not going to get it by reading even Swahili or any of those other African languages. And I want you to continue to learn them. But that's not the root. You have to learn the Medu Neter, because those are the symbols of nature. If you learn Kiswahili and Arabic, beautiful languages, you just be crazy in Swahili and crazy in Arabic. It won't evolve your consciousness. The Medu Neter will take your consciousness to a different level. Before I go into the postures, let me show you. Some of us are afraid of this symbol. We don't even want it in our house. But I need to tell you, you need it right at the door. This is Set. Some people call Setesh. This is where later Typhon came from, and later they developed the devil from this system. In ancient Kemet, Set sits at the helm of the boat of Ra, and he slays Ra's enemies every day. And in the scriptures it says, I am the only one who can do that. Set represents your Muntu spiritual system inside of every human being. You call it an immune system. Your immune system don't take notes. Your immune system, when an enemy comes in, don't sing, we shall overcome. Your immune system don't debate, is this a good germ or a bad germ? That looked like the germ that destroyed grandma. You think we should let it in? No! Set takes care of business. It's no debate. And you're afraid of Set. Only your enemy would have you afraid of Set, so that they can come in and take over your mind. And your immune system invites them in. Are we all made of light? Yes. Set. A very powerful energy. And it is part, it was sent here because this is divine energy to help you live your life. Without Set, you can't live. Without your immune system, you wouldn't even make it home from here tonight. And you're afraid of Set. Set needs to be right on your altar. Now what you need to do is have a relationship with Set. So that when your enemies come and you can't even recognize them, Set knows who it is, because Set can feel it. It has nothing to do with what somebody looks like. It's about their energy. And so Set needs to be one of your best friends. We know from the legacy that Set fights Haru. Now let me just explain. We know this is Haru from the double crown on top. But Muntu, or Muntu, is also the great falcon. If you look at the Waset, the ancient city of Waset, where I think Luxor and Thebes is today, that was called Waset. The patron war balancer that kept Ma'at there was Muntu, or Muntu, the great falcon. And later Haru just replaced that energy, that's all. Put the double crown on for the unification. And people say, well, come on, man, what's with the bird? Those people who study nature, the falcon, the hawk, the eagle, depends on what domain, have no rivalry in the sky. No bird can challenge them. They're the only bird that has an extra eye there that can look directly into Ra, into the sun. They have the keenest eyesight of any creature on the planet. They can spot a mouse under a leaf hovering a mile in the sky. That's all right, brother. I felt that. While hovering a quarter of a mile in the sky, can spot the fish in the water. He's traveling this way, the fish is traveling this way. He dives down, calculates the speed of light, the current of the water, and is 99.9% accurate, and he'll go up to 20 meters under the water and come up with a fish in his tie lines. Bombers and jet pilots practice following Haru, the falcon. The word hero comes from Haru. So now if you knew anything about nature, and somebody said, man, I'll be on you like a mighty falcon. They'd be like, oh, you know you can't even hide. All right? So this is, the Medunetia is full of symbols like this. So that you understand, it's about nature. It's putting you in contact with nature. The word nature, principle, divinity, order, law. It's all around you and we're ignorant of it. And remember, people what? They perish for lack of what? Knowledge. And now, brothers and sisters, the reason why I brought Set and Haru up here, see, it's not even about just having the knowledge. Because all y'all got the DVDs, y'all got the books, y'all come to the lectures, but is it raising your level of consciousness? Are you taking this to heart? Are you turning this knowledge into wisdom? The proper use of knowledge. And the key to that is the breath. I wanted to be able to give people a few exercises today. And remember this name. Ma'at Akuba Ankh. Let me hear you say, Ma'at Akuba Ankh. Ma'at is harmonious balance. Aku is spirit, divine spirit. Ka is the spiritual soul. Ba is the soul. And that's for alignment. The alignment of your spirit and your soul for life. I think that's a little deeper than just yoga. All right, are y'all with me? Yes. I don't want to stop you from doing yoga. That's the start. And I need to say this, the cultural context of which you are trying to elevate yourself is as important as the material. Yeah. So if you're using somebody else's cultural paradigm to elevate your black, it's not going to happen. And I have to admit, doing something is better than nothing. But the reason why the Chinese push their culture When I was a national champion, I won this national championship, and I got a free trip to China, and I had this 19-year-old carrying me around the different provinces. At 19-year-old, he was a master. He had his red sash in the front, and even the elders kneeled down when he came. Not because he could beat everybody up. In fact, I spanked him every day, but that wasn't it. It was because he was a keeper of their culture. Now you put on your kung fu outfit and walk through the projects and see what happened. Okay, all right. Put on your Japanese gi and walk through the projects. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. A keeper of your culture. And so, yes, the art is good, but is it housed in their culture? When they're doing it, they're promoting their culture. So when I'm there, I'm at the famous Shaolin Temple, and I'm looking, and I said, listen, wait a minute, like at least 1/3 of these people are all black, they're African. And they says, yes, we don't deny this. I said, we don't see that in no kung fu movies. Well, that's your job. That's what they told me, that's your job. Our job is to promote Chinese culture. All right? Y'all understand that? Okay, so don't get mad at them. You need to be able to step up to the bar. You know? And let's give it to Dr. Shaka Zulu, because that's what he was trying to do the other night. He was trying to step it up to the bar. And we have to be in control of our art. So listen, people. First exercise, very simple. I'm only going to give you 3. And then I'm going to just demonstrate just a small form. The first one, my students will know. We call it Olimwingo. Yeah, I see my students there getting their hands up. You're sitting like you're sitting in a high chair. You don't need to be all the way down here like they showed you in the temple. You need to be about right there. So like you're sitting in a chair, somebody move the chair. Back is straight. Arms are up like you're holding the world. Circular. Not stiff and not limp. Your hand has mind. Elbows up. The elbows cannot go below the heart. The whole time. Now, you take one spot, and this is a meditation. This is called standing meditation. Meditation is done lying, sitting, and standing. Meditation can also be done in flotation, in water. All those are excellent forms of where meditation can take place. This is standing because I'm a component of the Mantu arts. And this will strengthen the entire body. You start out at 5 minutes. So let me have some brave souls who want to come up and do 5 minutes with me. Come on up. I got one. Come on. Come on. Come on up. Stand next to me. You get into your first. Come on. Bend those knees. Y'all check them out. Make sure they're down low as I am. Toes straight ahead. Now, sometime this is the hardest part. I want you to pick a spot in the wall straight ahead. And I want you to only look at that spot. You don't look up, down, left, right. You don't wipe sweat off your face. You don't fix your pants. You don't fix your makeup. You don't tighten up your hair. You only look at that one spot. That means you're developing focus, discipline, endurance, and you are becoming captain of your own ship. Now, I'm going to add the third component, is that is breathing with it. Close your mouth, roll your tongue to the bridge of your mouth. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose, not out your mouth. I know some of y'all took the Asian arts and y'all want to breathe in through the nose and blow out through the mouth. No. If you were in the desert and you did that, you would perish. You would dehydrate yourself. So your tongue is rolled on the bridge of your mouth. to recirculate the saliva and the moisture. So you inhale through the nose, stomach expands, exhale through the nose. Stomach retracts using your diaphragm. I believe we must have about 2 minutes. We got 3 minutes to go. Somebody give me a time. So make it 3.5 minutes. We got warriors up here. You're looking at that spot. All beginner students start here. At 5 minutes, they tell me who you are. If you start feeling it in your back, that means your stomach is weak. Start spilling, your shoulders getting heavy. Got to build up the shoulders. Your arms start feeling like lead pipes. Got to build up the arms. Your legs start wobbling. You got to get out and do some road work. One spot. This stops the chatter. If you're looking at the one spot, you can't be thinking about what you're doing for dinner. You can't be thinking about this hot date tomorrow. All your focus is one spot. This will help you accomplish anything that you want to do in life. We got 3 minutes down to the go, y'all. Everybody get down just a little lower. This, like I said, this strengthens the entire body. If you can't do no other exercise, you do this for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, you will sleep well. And your body will love you. At 65, at 75, at 85. My brothers and sisters, they call me a baby elder, and I'm in my mid-60s.
1 more minute.
Another minute, y'all. Just low. Keep your spot. Looking straight ahead. A beginner student who has done his exercises well, at the end of at least 3 months should be able to hold this for 10 minutes. Intermediate student, 15 minutes. Advanced students, 20 to 25 minutes. You cannot be an instructor in the Kemetic AHA system unless you can do this for at least 1/2 an hour. If you can do it for 1/2 an hour and still be as fresh as I am right now, that means you can hold it for 1 hour or 2 hours. I never went past 3 because I had other stuff to do, not because I got tired. Okay? That's your discipline, that's your focus. So I know some of y'all want to just run to the gym and give them your money. You can do this at home in the closet and keep your money. When he says time up, I don't want y'all to just stop. I want y'all to make a ball with your hands. So when he says time, just listen to my instructions.
Time.
All right, now take your hands and form a ball. Don't touch. Right. Circular, turn the ball around 3 times. Breathe still. You should feel some energy in the center of your hands. That energy is the same energy that can stop a person's heart, or it can heal a person. Now take one hand, take your hands and wash your face with that energy. Don't touch it. You should feel the heat coming from your hand. Take your right hand and put it over your head, circular. Take your left hand and go the opposite direction. Now reverse it. Take that energy, now bring it down and put it in your navel. Touch. Push it down your thighs and straighten your legs up. Now retract. Before they go, how'd you feel? Good. How'd you feel?
Good.
How'd you feel?
In the legs.
Good. You feel?
I feel like I need to get back in class.
How'd you feel about it? That's good. All right, thank you. Give them a round of applause. So, if you only got time for one thing, one art to help practice your breathing and get your whole body in shape. And you can see the sweat is coming down from my face. This is not from doing a whole, it's not from all this. You know, because we could do that. That's not a problem. But that one drill harnesses your breath, puts you in control of your body. I had Tiger Joe Spooner, was one of my students, 3-time Mr. America, Mr. Olympia. He can do curls for 300 pounds. He couldn't hold that posture for 5 minutes. After 3 minutes, he was a student of mine for 6 months. After that, he can touch his palms to the floor. He went on and took 2 more titles, and he can hold that position for a half an hour. 6 months training. That was all. The next one I want to do, that was the stationary. Now, if someone is in a wheelchair, they can sit down and do that. Okay? At least they can build the upper part of their body. Get in control. Because what's important is to focus, y'all. The commercials have 3 and 5 second sound bites. Why do you think? Because that's the average person's concentration. 3 to 5 seconds, that's sad. You know, so this is to go beyond that. In fact, after this, you don't want to watch television no more. The color of your box should be black, like you. Okay? Y'all, some of y'all will get that in the morning. Okay. Simple exercise. I'm going to show you how simple this is. This is along the Nile, the wave that pulsates along the shore. The priest would practice this pulsation because that was like the rhythm of the heart, right? So they would stand in various postures. This just happens to be a cross, a bow stance, right? But they would just practice this, and the idea was to be like a wave. And you would just, but your breath had to be with this. Inhale, exhale. So when I exhale, that's out, because that would represent the strike. My opponent comes in. Okay, so every time my hand goes out, that's the exhale. The inhale, I'm waving, I'm moving. So I would do that for 3 or 4 minutes on this side, come back, and do the same thing on that side. So in, out, up, down. Y'all seen this other one on the Karate Kid or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Wax on, wax off. Okay, before the Chinese was born, we were doing this. Okay? In fact, half of the Shaolin, remember the Shaolin, wait, let me take this. You have the Manchu arts travel after it left the Nile Valley into Southern Asia.
Yes.
So you have the oldest arts in Asia in places like India, Burma, Thailand.
Japan just a lot.
Right, Salat, all those, yes. So you have it there before it's in China or Japan. Then you move along, you got the Muay Thai boxers and all that. That's just like straight out of the Congo. They're going into dance, they have their spiritual thing. You would think you're in Africa. Okay, and they will tell you quick that they're Manchu, that they are practicing an African-based art. Okay, then you have to understand when Buddha Dhamma traveled across the Himalayas into China, he was a 26th disciple. 26 from Kush. And that's why they call it the Indus Kush Valley, coming out of the Kushite Valley with the Magi and stuff. Okay, so, and he introduced this science to the Chinese. The Japanese hadn't even gotten to the 7 islands of Japan yet. Remember, that's only less than 2,000 years old. And the original people there are the Anu people, who are black people. Then the Chinese to the Koreans, then the Koreans, then to the Japanese. And that's just yesterday. Just yesterday. So I need y'all to be really clear when we put things in a timeline. That's why I like to show people, like when you're doing this. So when I'm doing this exercise and I say, oh, that looks like Kung Fu. No, Kung Fu looks like this. Okay, all right, y'all understand? You know, my brother broke down the first shogun of Japan as a black man from Kush. In fact, Kimmy, you can't be a samurai warrior unless you got black blood. And if you don't have any, you got to prick hands like the whole thing with somebody who is black in order to be a samurai. Okay, so I want to get just one more exercise here. Okay, so you got Olenwingo, you got Hapi. This is the flowing water of Hapi. In, out, pulsating of tie to both sides, okay? And next we're just going to do what we just call a step. This particular one is simply done. It's like called holding the ball. So this is really for your focus, holding the ball. So you have your ball, you circular. The ball can be rolled. And what you're doing is just getting in tune with the body, the flow. Don't squash your ball up. I see people, I say, well, come on, you got a frisbee. You want a ball. So you're cognitive of space and time and energy, you know, and you're utilizing this ball now. So you utilize and you learn how to use this energy. And if you want to do it in terms of isometric, then you can push the hands together. And remember, everything you do on one side, there's the dexterity. The brother last night did a demonstration almost using isometric with his exercise bar, where you can do this same type of isometrics with no tools, no instruments. Just your own pressure, push it up against the wall, push it up with your hand. Remember, y'all, you could be a grand master with no other tools other than yourself. You are an instrument. And when you're dealing with weaponry, it's not necessarily the sword, the knife. Your weapon is your mind. And when you think of weaponry, think of your environment. People leave that out. The wall, the desk, the chair, everything is a weapon to be used against your opponent. A blade of grass, everything is a weapon. So, you know, and anybody that's teaching you a weapon will tell you the first thing is that whatever your weapon is, it's an extension of your what, warriors? Your body, that's all. So after you learn how to breathe and use your body, after you know that you're in total control of your body, then a weapon is only extension. It's only an extension. Only extension. Now, last but not least, I'm going to do a small little form, and then I just want to end up talking about the breath and connection of the animal systems. Almost every animal that exists on the planet is part of you. And that's why when you look in the womb, you go through the fish stage, the amphibious stage, the mammal stage, all of that. So you have all those weapons all those weapons of the various animals in your consciousness. In your consciousness. Okay. Something that you can do early in the morning, and I don't care if you're 8 to 80, simple exercise. And remember what I said. I know some of us take Tai Chi, and I say that beats the blank. Continue to take it if you don't have access to your own, because we taught them that anyway. Okay. The only thing about it is they're utilizing their culture. So let me say this: no matter how good you get at it, you're promoting their culture. And they benefit from it as collectively. And collectively, we don't. I hope that hit home with some people. Utilize what you got available. until you can get to your own. Once you can get to your own, that's where you need to be. Because if you don't perpetuate yourself, who will?
That's right.
Who will? And that's just a beginner intermediate form. Questions before I close up? Beginner intermediate. Your beginner basically stays almost in one spot because all you're trying to do in the beginner is get coordination. So the beginner looks, I kind of did last night, it's kind of like Now this, some people say, come on, Mfundishi, what's this here? Can I just get a demonstration? Can somebody just come up? Demonstrate. Look. So you know, we got these little cute hand motions, and people are like, please, brother, I've been taking Japanese kung fu karate. We break boards. What's this? Look like some butterfly stuff. All this is coordination of the body. So if my opponent throws like a punch towards me, that's a snapped arm, okay? But in slow motion, all I did was, he throws the other hand. Look, his wrists, I'm out. Just, so if you do that 100 times, so if the person just really snaps, or you got to tip their contact, coming toward him. He's there. That means he's. So within a snap, his wrist is broke, his ankle is broke, his kneecap is broke. But I just wanted to show you, all I did was just a little simple motion to there. So when you're doing the drill, it's mind over matter. It's mind connected to matter. So it's not an abstract move, even though it looks really simple. And remember, all strikes are to pressure points and joints. As his punch is coming, all strikes, he's striking towards my face. So as I grab his wrist, that's a joint. Snap! That arm is no longer any good for him. Now his shoulder is no longer any good.
I can feel his
now his throat is no longer any good. And all it was, that's what I practiced. Now, unfortunately, some of us, I can tell when a person is utilizing the Chinese Kung Fu good. When they're doing the, if they got this silly grin on their face while they're doing Tai Chi, I know that the master did not teach them what that means. Because you shouldn't have that silly grin on your face when you're doing these motions. And dragon whips tail. We got to be able to relate this to our culture. Okay, so I just want to show you. But like I said, if you only have access to that,